Hello and welcome to the Geekology channel. My name is Trev and I'm the Geekologist, or should I say Hola. Today I'm going to be unboxing live, sort of, the Hola from Truthear. I've just this second put away the Shio from Truthear, and we're going to be testing out the Hola with the Shio and a phone, of course. What can I tell you about this? Well, it's $18.99. This is the frequency response curve, which is a variant of the Harman-Kardon frequency response curve. So there's a slight raise in the bass, it's almost linear across the mids, and a peak and then a drop just towards those higher levels, and then we go towards Trev's inaudibility range. So we're not really worried about that, are we? This is a single dynamic driver. It's based on an 11mm dynamic driver. It's got LCP and PU technologies in terms of how it's been built. It goes very loud indeed. It's a very, very efficient model, as you'd expect from a single driver in-ear monitor that's at the bottom end of the market. Did I tell you it's $18.99? If I didn't, I've told you it now. If I did, I apologise, because I've told you it twice. And we're going to be bringing out this warts and all. In terms of the frequency response, that's fairly standard, isn't it? Across the range, it's 20 to 20 kilohertz. Now, they say that the driver that this is used in much more expensive models. This would be the heart of maybe some of the more expensive hybrid models, where they're dynamic and balanced armature variants, or dynamic and even planar these days, or dynamic in all sorts. Let's get this open, and I have success this time. I've got it open very rapidly. I found a secret notch and we've got it sorted. It says there's Hola, and our anime model. We'll find out all about her, I expect, in a second once we've opened this up. Quite nice looking little presentation boxes, aren't they? Even for $18.99, Truthear are going out of their way to get some decent packaging for an $18.99 in-ear monitor. Look at that for a carry case. Isn't she lovely? Look, mantle hinges. And to unveil the in-ear monitors. Hola, Hola. How are you doing? So they're not even plain and simple, are they? And these are 3D resin printed. And I'm just having a look at the finish quality on them. So they've got a couple of outlet ports, I notice. So whether there's going to be some air being pushed against the inner part of my outer ear using those vents. Let's take these pins out. They all feel quite sturdy. Good precise fit. Just check that this one works okay as well. Yeah. Oh, so different cable again. So many different cables. These have got almost a rubbery, sticky feel to them. Oh. Reasonably heavy cable. What do you reckon? They looked like they were like a cotton braided thing, but they're not. They're like quite a thick rubber. Double twisted braid. And the finish on the end of them looks pretty good, pretty strong. Right, they've got no tips on them, but look at this. Look at the amount of tips we've got here. That's crazy. We've got two different types of tips. Let's have a look. Because these look the same size, but are they the same size? That will produce different effects to the sound, I would imagine. So before we put them on, let's have a look. Warranty card. Truthear. Oh, there she is. Oh, Shiroi. April the 20th, yeah. Yellow pupils. See that? Yeah, a Shiroi. Same as the Shio. Owner's manual. Right. Choose the best ear tip size. Your ear tip should make a good seal with your ear canal. Music has a rich bass sound. So if you can't hear rich bass, you probably aren't wearing the right ear tips. And remember, your left ear might need a different size from your right ear, but it doesn't tell me whether the wide bore or the narrow bore are going to produce a different sound, and what that different sound is going to be like. Let's try the wide bore, I think, to start with, and we'll go for, what have we got? I think they're the long ones, so I think they're, no, I don't know. I think we'll go for, so they're tiny, they're small, they're mediums, or is it, do you think small, medium, large, extra large? What do you think, cameraman? Yeah, so yeah, logically we'll try those and see what the fit is like in the ears. How easy are these to put on over the lip? They're very flexible and light. Easy. Slightly angled. You can't, can you see that? Yeah, so do you see the driver nozzle is slightly angled? Should give me rather, a decent fit in the ears, because I've got problematic ears, to say the least. My ear canal entrances are quite small, and that's the least of my problems. But these aren't going to go as far as the second bend or anything like that, because they're not customs. They're only $18.99, of course. Got to make sure they're on right. They're not on too far. And they're not going to come off in my ears, of course. I'm going to try on the left. So give that a twirl and see how it feels in the ear. Yeah, it's nice and small. Yeah. The world is beginning to disappear already, and I can hear my own voice resonating inside. Well, all that's left to do, I suppose, is have a little listen and get straight back to you. Let's plug them into my new shiny, well, it's not shiny, crocodile skinned Truthear Hola, Shio Hola. Plug it in. I've just been listening to Down to the Waterline by Dire Straits. I listened to it 2 or 3 times in a row when I was demonstrating the Shio, so I'll put them on again. I'm a bit worried about the volume because these are going to be loud, I think. Yeah, they are a bit louder than the hexas. Yeah, I'm picking up a little bit less hiss than on the hexas. Well, first off, the good thing is that they work perfectly well. Slightly narrower soundstage, I think. Let's try the hexas a second. Because they're a little bit smaller, they do fit a lot easier into my ears. Do you know what? These aren't a million miles away from the hexas, which are obviously a snazzier design and cost quite a bit more. The hexas are giving us a little bit more, I think. And the hexa sounds clearer and wider. Slightly more air pushing against the inside of my outer ears through the hexa than through the Hola. But these are doing good and they're so comfortable. I noticed that the guitar seems much more noticeable on these, but I think that's because the sound stage is a bit more intimate, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to have a listen to the sort of what's happening with the vocals. How easy are they to follow? Quite easy to follow, because the sound is a bit smoothed out on the Holas. So the hexa has a clearer vocal line. Okay, let's take the hexas out. I mean, I expected the hexas to be better anyway, and they are quite a lot better than the Holas. But the hexas may have an edginess to them for people that have been used to budget earphones. They are clearer, and there is certainly on Mark Knopfler's vocal line there just an extra edge, a hint of something else, a sort of a metallic edginess to the end of his higher range of his vocal that you don't necessarily get in the Holas. The Holas have got a lovely sound. If you weren't listening to another pair of more expensive earphones, you would be very, very impressed with the sound of the Holas. I think they are slightly smoothed out. They are slightly rolled off in the mid and higher ranges, and they don't have quite as much bass viscerality, so you can't hear as much air pushing against the side of your inner ear as you can on the hexa. But there is some bass boost there, but it's not to the level of the sort of consumer sound that you get from Beats. I think that these are definitely deserving sort of in-ear monitor quality. They're a great fit to my ears, so they're quite small. The shells are quite small, even compared to the hexas. I don't know if we can compare the two there, can we? Properly? Yeah, so the hexas are only a tiny bit bigger and thicker, but these are a great fit in my ears, and they produce a quite smooth, effortless sound with sort of a more intimate sound stage and slightly less clear sound than the Truthear hexas, which, as I say, are a lot more expensive. I think they're $79.99, whereas these are $18.99. And look at this, a little pouch, a couple of different types of earphone characteristics. Perhaps if I take out these wide bore ear tips and try them on a smaller bore ear tip and see if I notice a difference in the sound characteristics. So let's put these in whilst my brain retains some sort of memory as to what the other wide bore ear tips sounded like. So just a quick try with the, yeah, this gives a punchier, less rolled off sound. So the bass sounds a bit faster. My favourite will be the narrower bore tips. Yours may be different. The less fatiguing sound will be with the wide bore tips for sure, but these narrow bore ones have a punchier bass, faster bass, and there's a sort of almost unnatural sheen to the cymbals and things like that, but it does give you a bit of a wider and higher range sound than the wide bore tips. And who'd have thought a cheap pair of tips would have made all that sort of difference. I would wholeheartedly recommend somebody on a limited budget, even on the 15 minutes or so that I've spent listening to them. Truthear have come up trumps again, and undoubtedly an upgrade would be the Hexa, but that is a $79.99 earphone, which is well justified on the price tag in my opinion, compared to an $18.99 single dynamic driver. It's got a lot going for it. Well done, Truthear. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you very much for sharing that listening experience with me, and until the next time, see you soon.